Alcohol. The one drug where if you don't do it, people think there's something wrong with you. And in fact, if you were as insecure as me back in college, you had to pretend you liked drinking in order to be socially accepted.
I like alcohol. It's so good.
And yet, every year, alcohol abuse kills over 3 million people globally, with more than 75% of those deaths among men. According to CBC, an estimated 1/3 of the world drinks about 2 alcoholic beverages a day. That's insane. Drinking alcohol, a literal drug, is such a common practice that people don't really think twice anymore. And let me tell you, even as an occasional drinker, you're doing way more damage to your brain and body than you think. How the hell does this all happen? Why is alcohol so damaging? Well, alcohol can do something many other drugs can't. It can pass directly into cells and tissues of your body. Most other drugs, they just attach themselves to receptors. Now, there are 3 types of alcohol, and only one is technically ingestible: ethanol. But even so, ethanol is extremely toxic and produces substantial stress and damage to your cells. It does not discriminate between good and bad cells. It'll wipe them all out. And fun fact, the good feeling that you feel when you're on a good buzz, what's actually happening is a poison-induced disruption in your brain. It's acetaldehyde, that word itself, that makes you drunk. Therefore, the more poisoned you become, the more drunk you get. This entire process is actually very metabolically costly without any nutritional value. Even worse, this means that if you can't metabolize alcohol fast enough, that poison will build up in your body. And let me say it again, you are storing poison in your body. For all you smart asses out there saying, but that's what livers are for. Well, yeah, your liver is excellent at metabolizing alcohol, but even so, it will definitely take a very hard beating over time.
That's good, OJ. Oh my God!
So for every drink you drink, say goodbye to your healthy cells and enjoy that future liver failure, my friend. Here's a big myth that we've all heard. Alcohol helps you sleep. Well, yes, alcohol is often used as a sleep aid, but it's actually horrible for your sleep. Essentially, alcohol is a sedative, so while it's sedating a part of your brain, the big fallacy here is viewing sedation as sleep. They are not the same. What's actually happening here is you're indeed losing consciousness quicker, but alcohol is fragmenting your sleep. It's causing you to wake up more often, and chances are you won't remember these disruptions in the morning. So the point is, good luck getting any REM sleep. I know I might be getting a little dramatic here, so let's talk about a lighter subject: stress and depression. Alcohol is known to increase cortisol, the stress hormone, even if you have a few drinks once a week. So for those who drink to relieve stress, well, chances are you'll feel more stress and anxiety when you're not drinking throughout the week due to the increase in cortisol. Additionally, it's very clear that drinking leads to dramatic changes in the release of serotonin, a neurotransmitter involved in mood and well-being. Serotonin is also considered the happiness molecule and the calming chemical. So basically, you need it to feel good. And so serotonin helps the relief of depression by facilitating the changes in the nerve circuits that you need to feel elevated, to be in a good mood. As I mentioned, ingesting alcohol disrupts the mood circuitry, but at first it makes them hyperactive, and this is why people start feeling good. But as the alcohol wears off, your serotonin levels really drop off. So what do people do? They get another drink and try to restore that good mood. After a few drinks, though, there's an absolute 0 chance. That's right, Huberman says 0 chance that you will recover that same good, energized mood. Most people will in turn feel more suppressed, and your brain starts to shut down, motor movements start to shut down, and you'll feel a great reduction of alertness and arousal. Now, there is a subset of people that have a gene variance or are chronic drinkers that as the more they drink, they continue to feel energized and can party all night. Those are not always, but often, as Huberman puts it, the future alcoholics in the room. or at least have a genetic predisposition towards alcoholism. But wait a minute, we know alcohol isn't all bad. In fact, a lot of us drink because it lowers our inhibitions. It relieves social anxiety, helps us become bolder, spontaneous, and overall more ourselves in a way, right? So let's talk about inhibition. What happens is, after your first or second drink, there's a slight suppression in the activity of the prefrontal cortex, an area involved in planning and rational behavior. This makes you less inhibited. There's a reason why we call alcohol liquid courage. You might need to chug a beer before asking that girl out, or down a shot before coming down the steep slopes, right? Honestly, this is kind of the cool benefit to drinking, and I will be the first to admit I've used alcohol as a tool to get over nerves in social settings or even in job interviews. However, what you're probably not aware of is this inhibition can have long-term effects, even for those who just drink once a week. There's research that indicate there are changes in the nerve circuits in the brain that strengthens habitual and impulsive behavior even outside the times that they're drinking. So if you're the type that is a little bit too impulsive or has trouble with things like discipline, really consider the fact that alcohol is gonna make it worse. Okay, so I will admit that was a lot of heavy stuff. But the good news is, those who can remain abstinent anywhere from 2 to 6 months can reverse the damaging effects of those nerve circuits we discussed, except for those who have been drinking large amounts of alcohol over many, many years. There's evidence that indicate the damaging effects may last throughout their whole lifespan. Now, if you're a recovering alcoholic, this does not mean that you should just forego your well-being and that it's too late. As my baby Huberman said, not all is lost. At the very least, you can avoid further damage to your body. Okay guys, I know this whole video has been about how horrible alcohol is, but I'm not telling anyone to toss their drinks. I myself enjoy a drink or two once in a blue moon. Just be fully aware of what you're doing. Except don't drink and drive.